The year 1940. World War II has started. Two men are in danger. Not from bombs. Not from guns. From their own friends. They had a choice: go to prison or run into the desert. They chose the desert. 2 years hiding. This is their incredible true story and your English practice. Let's begin. It was 1940. World War II was happening in Europe. 2 German men lived in Africa. Their names were Henno Martin and Hermann Korn. They were geologists. A geologist studies rocks and land. They were not soldiers. They did not want to fight. But there was a big problem. Germany and Britain were enemies in the war. Henno and Hermann were German. They lived in Namibia, which was controlled by Britain. So the British Army wanted to put them in prison. Just because they were German. Not because they did anything wrong. Just because of their nationality. Henno and Hermann heard the news. The British soldiers were coming. They had very little time. Henno looked at Hermann. Do you remember what we said once? We said, if there is ever a war, we will hide in the desert. Hermann nodded slowly. Yes, I remember. They both looked at their loyal dog, Otto. Otto wagged his tail. He was ready for an adventure. The decision was made. They would not go to prison. They would run into the Namib Desert. They had 4 days to prepare. 4 days to pack everything they needed. They packed food, dried food, canned food, tea, coffee, sugar, jam, chocolate. Camping, sleeping bags, a tent, cooking pots. Tools, a knife, rope, sewing kit, first aid kit. Fuel for their truck. And most importantly, a radio. The radio was very important. It used the truck's battery. They could listen to news about the war. They needed to know when it was safe to come back. They also packed guns, not to fight people, to hunt animals for food. After 4 days, the truck was full. They said goodbye to their home. They drove into the desert. The Namib Desert is one of the world's oldest deserts. It is on the west coast of Africa. Some parts have beautiful orange sand dunes. Other parts have sharp rocks and deep canyons. It is very, very hot in the day and very cold at night. Almost no rain falls there. It is one of the most difficult places to survive on Earth. But Henno and Hermann knew this desert well. They had worked there as geologists before. They knew where to find water. They knew where to hide. They drove along small paths. No one could follow them easily. They reached the top of a deep canyon. Hermann looked down. They will never find us here. Henno agreed. They climbed down into the canyon. It felt like another world. Quiet, still, hidden.
At the bottom of the canyon, they found a small riverbed. It was dry. No rain had fallen, but they found some small pools of water. They found a big rock with a roof shape, like a natural cave, perfect for shelter. Over 2 days, they moved everything from the truck. They hid the truck under a cliff so no one could see it. Their new home was ready, but they had a big problem: food. Their packed food would not last forever. They needed to hunt. One day, they saw tracks in the sand. Wild cattle tracks. A bull, a cow, and a calf. "We can hunt the bull," Henno said. Hermann nodded. They had a plan. But hunting a wild bull is very dangerous and very difficult. The bull was big and strong. Their first hunt was a disaster. Henno tried to get close. The bull smelled him and charged. Henno ran fast and jumped onto a rock. The bull's horns just missed him. Hermann fired his pistol. The bull fell, then got up again. Otto the dog attacked the bull's nose. The bull threw Otto away. They fired again and again. Finally, the bull fell and did not get up. It was a long, hard fight, but they had food now. They cut the meat into strips. They dried the meat in the hot sun. This is called biltong. It is dried meat that lasts a long time. For many days after, every meal was wild bull. Breakfast, wild bull. Life in the canyon was hard. Every day was a challenge. Problem 1, fish. They found fish in a small water hole. They needed a net to catch them. They had no net. Solution? They used sticks and their underpants. Yes, really. They tied sticks together and used their underwear as a net. They dragged it through the water. It worked. They had fish for dinner. Problem 2, a thief. Something was stealing their fish at night. Every morning, fish were disappearing. They saw footprints. A hyena. The hyena was coming at night and stealing their fish. Henno was angry. "I will stop that hyena," he said. He took his sleeping bag to the water hole. He lay there and waited all night. Nothing came. Hermann laughed the next morning. "The hyena is smarter than you." The next night, Henno tried again. This time, he heard the hyena's cry in the dark. He fired his gun toward the sound. The crying stopped. In the morning, he found the hyena. It was hurt and hiding under a tree. He finished the job. No more stolen fish. Problem 3, health. Eating only meat is not good for the body. After many weeks, they got headaches. Their bodies needed vitamins. Solution? They drank blood. And they ate raw meat. It sounds terrible, but it helped their bodies get the vitamins they needed. They also made sausages from blood and intestines. Life was not easy, but they were surviving. Months went by. The seasons changed. In the wet season, rain came to the desert. The dry riverbed suddenly had water,
Green plants grew everywhere. Animals came from far away to drink. Thousands of springbok, beautiful animals like deer, ran across the plains. Henno watched them with wonder. Even in the desert, life found a way. But the dry season was terrible. No water, no plants. They had to move to find new water holes. They walked through the hot canyons, always thirsty, always hungry. One day, they stopped to rest under a rock. The ground was full of tiny sand ticks. They did not notice. Hermann suddenly cried out, "My hand! Something bit me!" In minutes, Hermann started shaking. His face went pale. He started to vomit. He could barely see. A tick had bitten him. Blood poisoning. Henno was very scared. He quickly cut open the bite. He put antiseptic medicine on it. Then he helped Hermann into a small cave nearby. They waited. All night, Hermann was very sick. Henno watched over him. By the next day, Hermann was a little better. He could stand up. He was weak, but alive. Henno breathed a big sigh of relief. "Don't you dare die on me," he said. Hermann smiled weakly. "I wasn't planning to." Time passed slowly in the desert. 1 year. Then 2 years. Every night they listened to the radio. They heard about the war. Big battles. Many deaths. The war was not ending. Their food supplies were getting very low. Their clothes were falling apart. Hunting became harder because they were so weak. In the second dry season, things got very bad. They were both very weak from hunger. Even walking was difficult. One day, Henno saw a large lizard on the rocks. He was so hungry, he ran and grabbed it by the tail. He pulled it out. That night, they cooked the lizard. It tasted like chicken and salmon together. It was delicious. It gave them 2 meals. But Hermann was getting sicker. His back hurt. His legs hurt. His head hurt. He could not walk far. He could not hunt. Henno hunted alone. He brought back food for both of them. But Hermann was not getting better. Henno was very worried. "You need a doctor," he said. Hermann shook his head. "If we go back, they will put us in prison." "It doesn't matter," Henno said. "You are my friend. Your life is more important." Henno made a difficult decision. He prepared the truck. After 2.5 years in the desert, they would go back to the city. The drive was long and difficult. The truck struggled over rocks and sand. But finally, they arrived in Windhoek. Henno helped Hermann to a hospital. The doctors examined him. Hermann had a very serious vitamin B deficiency. His body had almost no vitamins left. He needed medicine urgently. Hermann's friends found out they were back. Some told the authorities where Henno was. Both men were arrested. They were put in prison briefly.
But when people heard their story, the court was amazed. Their crime? Running away from prison. Their sentence? A small fine. And a fine for not paying Otto the dog's license. Everyone laughed at that. Hermann recovered fully from his illness. But sadly, he died in a car accident in 1946. Otto, their loyal dog, disappeared mysteriously a few years later. Nobody knows what happened to him. Henno Martin stayed in Namibia his whole life. He wrote a book about their adventure. The book is called The Sheltering Desert. It is still read today. 2 scientists, 1 dog, 2.5 years in one of the world's harshest deserts. Not soldiers, not heroes, just 2 ordinary men who chose survival over prison.
Now, let's review 5 important words from the story. Number 1, geologist. A scientist who studies rocks and land. Henno and Hermann were geologists. Number 2, survive. To stay alive in a dangerous situation. They survived 2 years in the desert. Number 3, hunt. To chase and catch animals for food. They had to hunt for food every day. Number 4, vitamin. A substance in food that keeps your body healthy. Hermann had a vitamin deficiency. Number 5, loyal. Always faithful and true to someone. Otto was their loyal dog. And that is the incredible story of Henno Martin and Hermann Korn. 2 men who hid in the desert for 2.5 years and survived. What would you do? Prison or desert? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Next Friday, a new B1 level story. Thanks for watching, and keep learning. See you Friday!